Welcome to another episode of Science Made Simple. I'm Dr. Ryan, and I'm a science specialist here at the Pique Lab. In this video, I'll be analyzing a past year examination question on the topic of measurements. I've also prepared this question for you to download for free by clicking a link in the description box below. So, let's get started. The student is provided with two drying agents, concentrated sulfuric acid and calcium oxide. Before we analyze this question, let's have a quick recap of drying agents. Drying agents removes water from moist gases. And one of the common drying agents is concentrated sulfuric acid. Since it is an acid, it is classified as an acidic drying agent. Acidic drying agents are generally used to dry acidic gases as well as neutral gases. Examples of acidic gases include hydrogen chloride, chlorine, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen dioxide. On the other hand, neutral gases include oxygen, nitrogen, helium, and hydrogen. The other common drying agent is calcium oxide. As you will learn in the chapter of oxides, calcium oxide is classified as a metal oxide, which is also a type of basic oxide. This means that calcium oxide is a basic drying agent. Hence, we can use calcium oxide to dry basic and neutral gases. There are not a lot of basic gases that you need to know, perhaps only one, and that is ammonia. Here's an interesting question for you. We know that concentrated sulfuric acid is used to dry acidic and neutral gases. What do you think will happen if we were to use concentrated sulfuric acid to dry ammonia? Can you write the equation to represent this reaction? Being acidic, sulfuric acid reacts with ammonia, which is a base, to generate ammonium sulfate via the acid-base reaction, also known as neutralization. Therefore, if we were to use concentrated sulfuric acid to dry ammonia, we are effectively destroying ammonia. On the other hand, for calcium oxide, we know that it is used to dry basic and neutral gases. What do you think will happen if we were to use calcium oxide to dry acidic gases like HCl? Being a type of basic oxide, calcium oxide can react with HCl, and this generates a salt and water via an acid base, also known as neutralization reaction. Hence, as what you would expect, it will react with HCl. Looking back at the question asks which method should he use to collect a sample of dry ammonia. As mentioned, concentrated sulfuric acid reacts with ammonia. So, any options which incorporates the use of concentrated sulfuric acid will be eliminated. If you compare the last two options, what difference do you see? Well, that would be the orientation of the test tube. For option 3, it is illustrating a method known as downward delivery, whereas option 4 is illustrating the upward delivery. You may pause the video to think about the factor that is important to help you to determine whether you should use downward delivery or upward delivery. Downward delivery is used if the gas is denser than air, whereas upward delivery is used if the gas collected is less dense than air. I'm sure what some of you are thinking about now is how do we determine the relative densities of the various gases and air? The good news is that there's actually no need for you to go and memorize the actual densities of the various gases. You can compare their relative densities using relative molecular mass, which you can obtain from the periodic table. For this question, the teachers have kindly provided the relative molecular mass of ammonia, which is 17. So what you need to do is to just calculate the relative molecular mass of air. The next question would be, what is air made up of? Air is made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and about 1% of argon. This means that air is in fact a mixture. So, this means that we have to calculate the average relative molecular mass of air. To do so, we have to consider both the percentage as well as the relative molecular mass of the components of air. So, the average relative molecular mass of air would be 0.78 multiplied by the relative molecular mass of nitrogen, which is 28, plus 0.21 multiplied by 32, which is the relative molecular mass of oxygen. And lastly, adding 0.01 multiplied by the relative atomic mass of argon, which is 40. This generates a value of approximately 29. Therefore, the average relative molecular mass of air is 29. As you can see, it might be quite tedious to derive these on the spot. Hence, it is highly recommended for you to memorize this number for convenience. With this information, we can see that ammonia has a smaller relative molecular mass as compared to air. What this tells us is that ammonia is expected to be less dense than air. Since ammonia is less dense than air, we would have to use the upward delivery method to collect it. Therefore, this shows us that method 4 is the best method to collect a sample of dry ammonia. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you found this video useful, do give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to check out more videos by us, do click on the links on the right-hand side. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye!